Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Hopefully you're doing great, great, great. I'm still getting a couple things set up. Was putting some things on the chart. I got really some sun beaming in my face here. Let's try that. Okay. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Ted. How you doing? Hopefully you guys had a fantastic week. Blessed. Let's see. Disregard. I'm going to block him for a second. Hang on. I'm trying to get rid of... Let's see if that works. You're gonna see Patrick pop up there for a second because I'm trying to get rid of that. Sometimes it gets stuck up there so it doesn't show. So I just want to get my Google Photos back up there. Ted, where do you live at? Villainous, good morning. You have a monitor on the way. Way to go. Way to go. That's exciting. I had just one and I was like, ooh, I could get a second monitor. That'd be really nice. Ended up getting a second monitor and it's like, I feel like I can make $1 million now. That wasn't necessarily the case. Had a lot to learn still. Okay, so we got the 5-minute here. I like where the midnight open is sitting. I also like we hit this volume imbalance on the daily. We're going to jump up to the daily here. Actually, we're going to jump up even further. We're going to look at the weekly. We just had a weekly fill of this volume or this fair value gap. We closed that. On a weekly, from a weekly perspective, our next level really is this right here. Is right there. Is this level right here? Equilibrium of this wick. We'll just put that there and then get rid of this. We'll call this EQ. We're going to see if price wants to reach all the way down in there. We did have an aggressive move lower. Today really could be just a consolidation after a big move that we've seen. Make that red. And then let's drop down to the... We do still have this weekly fair value gap low. I'm going to still mark this. I think that's a key level there. And where is that? Oh, where are we above it already? We should be below it. There it is. This is the beginning of the weekly fair value gap. That's possible for it to tag up into. We got 3 minutes till open. News-wise, what do we got going on? Do we got anything on the calendar for today? Monday, there is no news for today. So today is a risk-off approach. If we're gonna be making trades, today is one of those days for a risk-off approach. 2 minute. What does the 1 minute look like here? Did we grab liquidity? We grab those equal lows. 2 minute, 3 minute. I'm liking this fair value gap here. I don't know if I want the 3 minute, 1 minute, or 2 minute. But that's what we're looking at. We did grab these equal lows right here, came down aggressively, and now it looks as if we want to move higher. What does the 1 minute look like? We have a volume imbalance. Ooh, that's nasty. I don't like this volume imbalance, because that means we have to close above that. I'm not a fan of volume imbalances, because that means this 1 minute fair value gap goes all the way up to here. Anytime you don't have the bodies touching, we need to include that whole volume imbalance on the 1 minute. Okay. Sorry, I'm not chatting here for a second. I'm just getting situated. I need to figure out what I want my bias to be and where I want to put my focus. So we have our previous day low right here. I'm not putting much attention onto that. I'd rather put my focus on this daily volume imbalance. But we've already filled this weekly, or this volume imbalance sitting right here. That volume imbalance sitting right there. That's what we worked up into. Honestly, that's enough for me to potentially see lower prices if we want to do that. I'm indecisive on my position today because we don't have any news. We've had a big move yesterday. It tends to be a days like this tend to be more choppy. So we just need to evaluate price and see how it's going. We had a great week last week. We had a great week the week before that. I just want to keep that going. Not get caught up in a move like I did on Thursday, missing an opportunity. We have equal lows right here. If this candle closes below this, that would be a nice run to these equal lows. That seems pretty probable for me. Or lower, to be honest. Because we have the midnight open right here. We're going to mark out our opening price. Okay, no close. This is why we stay out and we wait for our model, because that reaction right there would freak the heck out of me. That's why. So there's 930. We have 930 opening price right here, and that is an aggressive candle. If it wasn't a Monday, I would be taking this to these swing highs. But knowing what we just did here and what I saw in the previous candle, this makes me feel we could do it again. However, there's a high probability we're probably running these two highs here. We just ran this high. But I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Good morning, Alakai. How you doing? One mobile screen is doing it. I completely understand. This is a nice reaction. If that's the reaction right there, this should be a nice push higher right there. Reading price, not taking it, but you see how it wicked lower. The first thing it did was wick lower, stopped at this fair value gap, and then we have this order block sitting right here at 930. This is an indication that we move higher, especially since this is 930. I'm working on building more confidence on moves like that, because this is relatively, I'm beginning to recognize these more. I'm not going to take it. I just want to see how price reacts, especially with this volume imbalance sitting right here. We're now wicking into it for the first time in the New York session. We did here earlier today, but that's the pre-market. So typically I like to see levels ran in the New York session preferably. So what I'm saying is this could be an indication that price rolls over here, but let's see if it wants to reach all the way up to this the weekly fair value gap low. London high, yep, I've been watching that. Your sound seems low. Sound low. You know what I forgot to do? Son of a gun. I forgot to do my latency. Reduced. I need to get better at that. Sorry about that, guys. Who said low volume? Who said low volume? Low volume, low volume. Texas. Ted, you're in Texas. Okay, nice. Sons of Rhythm, tell me if it's still low. I'm kind of talking in a monotone voice because I'm processing and I'm verbalizing what I'm seeing. All right, so that thought right here, that was a beautiful, especially with this breaker, low, high, lower, low. We came into the breaker, we closed above this fair value gap, we wicked into this order block and it being the 930 price and pushed higher. I like that. I'm seeing that more often. That I'm getting to the point where I'd feel more confident to take trades like that. But I'm not taking a trade off that right now. Hey guys, is my voice Charles said it was low. Let me do this here. How about now? How about that? How's that? Tell me if that's okay. It's peeking up into the red when I'm talking, so let's drop it a little bit. All right, I'm peeking up into the orange and tapping into the red as far as my dBs on volume. Let me know if that's okay. I apologize if it's a little low. I'm gonna get a little bit of music going on here. I like this, especially if we want to move lower. We got equal lows here. We got midnight open down here. I do think we might be inside of a ranging here today. Here's the hourly. The hourly we just wicked up into. What I'm doing, guys, is I'm going all over the place looking for reasons price may want to find resistance. So here's the hourly that we just looked at. If we drop down to the 15-minute, we can even refine that even more. I think I want to refine that more. I'm going to drop this to the 15-minute. That's the 15-minute. And we just wicked into that. I would like to see this go a little bit deeper. Last time I took a trade off the 15-minute when it looked like it was being aggressive, I ended up hurting myself twice in a row. That was on Thursday. Was that Thursday? Yeah. Pretty sure that was Thursday. I did that. Let's try this. This is a cool down, workout cool down track. Trying to do something that doesn't give me Christmas music here, guys. Gonna drop off the kids. Okay, good. Sounds better. Great. Awesome. Well, let's begin the week. You guys, not all of you may agree with this, but I want to start off my week right. So, Father, we just dedicate this week to you. Father, that we would be faithful with what you've given in our hands. We would be content with the profits we receive. Thank you for your faithfulness in our lives. We receive the profits you have for us today. Amen. Today is going to be a great day, folks. We are blessed. We're looking for price I really kind of wanted to see hit at this level. Why this level? This is the weekly fair value gap. I want to see this weekly fair value gap used as resistance. And I'm really looking for the first impact on there, and I want to see how it reacts. Because it's a weekly fair value gap, meaning we really could see it play inside this level for quite a while. I mean, it could be in here for 3 or 4 days. But when we look at this 15-minute chart, I really like the way this is looking. I like this low, high, low, higher high with a break lower right here. And outside of this fair value gap, the only other fair value gap we have is this one right here on a 15-minute perspective. Look how high that is. I don't know if we want to reach all the way up there. We do have this previous day high right there, and we do have this previous day low. I would like one of these levels to hit. You know what? I really like that last one. We're going to go back to that. I'm going to see if I can find other songs like that. Find similar. Okay, nice reaction here. Look what it reacted to, guys. This is exactly the kind of reaction I wanted. Now let's see if it's sustained. Okay? Is this just a wick with the push then higher? Or are we going to see it continue lower? All right? That's kind of what we're watching. The other level here is this level here. I like this on the 1 minute time frame. For a inversion fair value gap. You know what? Let's change that here. Let's change that. I really like this chill music. How do I get more music like this? I'm going to save this. Add to a playlist. We're going to call this day trading. Okay. See how that was short-lived? Do you see how this was short-lived here? I didn't like the body close. It closed inside of this. I really wanted displacement. Displacement tells me it's time to go. A large candle with a short body tells me I'm just kidding. We're still waiting here. We're going to be patient. This still may be. Now we're watching the midpoint of this wick. The bodies are not willing, even the wicks aren't willing to get past this level as of right now. So still our eyes are on the midpoint of this wick to see if we are wanting to push higher or if we're going to move lower. from a 30-second perspective, here's an inversion fair value gap that looks as if it's about to fail. Let me turn this down. If it's too loud on your guys' end, let me know. So it seems as if it's going to fail here on this 30-second. It did wick below this, but it could still push higher. I'm not sure if it wants to do that or not. We'll see. Overall, this is telling me not to play around with this because this is consolidation. One minute's just nothing I want to mess with. 2 minutes really wicky. Three minute, okay. Let's go back to the 5 minute over here. The 5 minute, that's interesting. This 5 minute wicked into this 5 minute fair value gap. I'm gonna get rid of these here. The 5 minute wicked into this 5 minute fair value gap, and then has pushed higher, or at least it's attempting to. Right there. And we are having a 5 minute close right now. That's the 5 minute close. A wick into there. We just closed below this. This is to consolidation. This is sit and wait, folks. We're sitting and waiting. Nothing obvious. How many of you have been poking on Twitter or X and seen that ICT is back on X in full tilt for just going at it with other creators or with other traders? I mean, it's great for entertainment. how many of you guys have heard it? How many guys have seen it? If you haven't, basically, Patrick Whalen has been smashing ICT for basically a year, saying he can't trade, and then all of a sudden, ICT jumps on yesterday and starts saying, hey, put your $500,000 down, I'm ready to go. And then they go back and forth, and everybody's throwing their opinions out there. It's entertaining to read, and you see all these comments of people putting these gifs of people eating popcorn. Like, I'm ready to just, I'm watching, I'm in this, let's see what happens, which is fun. But I can't communicate that way. I can't do that. Unless I'm really frustrated or mad at somebody or angry at something. There are some traders out there that I despise because they're scamming people. It bothers me. You know what, DDT? ICT, I don't know sometimes. He says he's a believer. I believe him when he says he has a relationship with Christ. However, I don't see it reflected in his actions towards other people sometimes. I feel like he says he's a believer, but he's an unsanctified believer. He hasn't let salvation finish its process in his life. But, I mean, his principles are undeniably amazing. I just, like... And the fact that he's giving it away for free, I really, really admire that. I really admire that. The fact that he could make literally millions of dollars by just putting a price tag on this. And thousands, easily, thousands of people would buy it. Would pay monthly. People would pay monthly. Easily $500 a month to get access to his stuff. He could make, let's just say it's $500. And let's just say 6,000 people are on his stream right now. Let's say 10,000 people are on his stream. Let's say 1%. 1% of people. What would that be out of 10,000? It's 100? No, that's too small. He would have way more than that. Let's say he gets 1,000 people to do it. 500 times 1,000. That's $500,000 a month he would make. That's $500,000 a month. That's just the amount of money he could easily make is so high. Yet he's giving it away for free. And I believe him. And when he says this is the market, I believe him. I mean, I've seen it happen too much to disagree. Undoubtedly, it's the market. What do we mean by the market? When we see price move, he's put a language that explains why price does what it does. He gives you a language on when to start. What did we say? This is a perfect example. What did we say? We said we were watching this wick right here. We said we were watching the midpoint. Look at the midpoint being respected and look at where price is now. He talks about this. He teaches this. You treat wicks as you would a fair value gap. And I didn't put much thought into it when he first talked about it, but when he started doing the 2024 mentorship, I saw him bringing it up over and over and over again. So I did my own research on it. And I'm like, holy crap. The wicks are legit. Are legitly being used in price action over and over again. Now, it doesn't mean it can't do what it's doing right now. But I'm saying just to see order flow, it came all the way back down to this 5-minute fair value gap. And guess what? Now it's going higher. So it can bounce between these PD arrays. And just to see it move, that is the market. It's how price is moving. It's a language he put together to articulate what's happening in price. This is not, I don't even want to go there. All right, so we're touching the weekly fair value gap low again. We're stopping at that level. Do you see how we reference this? It's when you can recognize what to put on your charts, that is when you're becoming better at trading. When you can remove some things and leave other things, and then those things are actually what is showing up in price. Actually, you know one thing I forgot to do? Forgot to add this bad boy. This is going to be a great trade. This is what I'm looking for. This is the opening range gap. Look where equilibrium is. Remember I told you I liked where the midpoint, where the midnight open was? Look at where midnight open and where is the midpoint. So I'm using the midpoint as my draw on liquidity. I've decided. This is what I'm looking for. This is the trade I want to have happen. How is it going to happen? I don't know yet. But this is what I'm going to look for. I've seen it take place in the first 30 minutes. ICT talks about that it 70% of the time it will happen in the first 30 minutes. So 10 o'clock is right here. I don't know if that's going to happen, folks. I mean, that's 10 o'clock right there. For it to start filling halfway by 10 o'clock, that's crazy. It could be. And if it is, then we're going to be ready for it. Here's an inversion fair value gap right here. Midpoint of the 15-minute SIBI. We wicked above it. We have relatively equal lows right here towards the 5 minute. I'm liking the close and this candle here. Let's drop down to the 30-second in case we get some type of aggressive move. 13 seconds on this candle right here. I hope it doesn't close in 3 seconds. Okay, so we're going to bump up to the 1 minute. Swing low, swing low. 9:30 opening price. I'm treating this as manipulation right now. Our accumulation, manipulation, 9:30 opening price with an expansion lower to the downside. That's the idea I have. Targeting here, you could even go to the previous day low, but you'll probably get some time, you'll get some retracements that will happen. All right, we didn't get a close there either. Let's see if this closes here, where it closes. This was kind of tricky. Made you feel like it was going to run without you. This is why we have to wait for the closes. We have another inversion right here. I would not be taking that. I'm personally not interested in that. Really want this to close below. Okay. I might actually look at this.
Order submitted.
I've changed my mind.
Order submitted.
Gonna let it run. Gonna let it go. See if we can get another push. Gonna sell it there for 50 ticks. If I'm honest, the reason why I did that is I literally had a flash in my mind. This was literally last second. It's like I felt the Holy Spirit saying, hey, you need to do this. And the reason it wasn't that he told me to take the trade. The thought that I had was, hey, Tyler, have we reached up to the 50% level yet? That was what I had. And it looks like we have. And I took that thinking, oh, it might be higher. And that's literally why I took it. That was the only reason, guys. So kind of reckless in my opinion on how I took that trade. I will be honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. But it worked out. I will not take this trade right here. That's not what we want to do. We want to take this one here. This is where price found support. And so if we're going to look for a move lower, that's where we want to do. That's where we want it to be. Also, this is also the breaker. This is a breaker. Nine o'clock, or excuse me, 10 o'clock right now. 10 o'clock. See if we get a move. I like where this being at 9:58, a high being made right around the top of the hour. I like that. Let's see if we can keep this. And we can move lower. So we didn't fill that opening range imbalance before 10 o'clock. 10:30 before 10 o'clock, that's fine. I really don't care. I mean, I'll still trade it if it wants to move down. And on this trade that I did take, guys, I did mention that I'm not looking for big moves because I do expect today to not be... I don't expect to see many of these candles. Let's just say that. I think of this for today more than I think of this. And so when we get one of these, I think it's gonna be short-lived because it's one Monday typically in the power of 3 concept. How many of you watched that video? I thought that was a great video. So important. If you haven't watched that video, watch the video titled Intraday Trading for Beginners. It talks about the power of 3 concept and how I use it in my trading. I've touched on it here, but I just spend more time explaining it in the video. Definitely watch that video. I forgot what I was saying. But it's a Monday. There we go. It's a Monday, which is usually the accumulation stage on a weekly scale. And it's the day after a very large move lower. So what do you expect on the day following? Either retracement or consolidation. I usually would not expect to see continuation on a daily perspective. And if we look at the daily candle right now, here's the daily candle. What have we gotten? We've gotten retracement. We've gotten retracement. Here's the weekly fair value gap on a weekly scale. We've ran into that. We bounced on that here, saying I'm not done with this area yet. We got a 4-hour and a wick right here, a swing low, meaning this area does not have to be rebalanced. It has been sufficiently delivered already, and we could find resistance at this point right here, which is at the top of this 15-minute BISI. So we're going to keep our eyes on this 15-minute SIBI, and we're going to watch that. Dante, I am too, but this just, the trade that I took, I do feel it was a little reckless that I took. I'm grateful that it worked out. I'm waiting to take the weekly expiration QQQ puts once it reaches 457. Yeah, I don't go for a DDT. I'm in shorts on the triple Qs on my retirement account, and we're going to see if that wants to continue lower, which would be nice. All right, watching this breaker here. In conjunction with the close below this IFVG. Targeting these swing lows here. The 930 open. And then the opening range gap, which also midpoint overlaps with the midnight. This looks too nice. I really like this. I really want this trade. So if we look at this trade idea here, if we take a short here, a close below this inversion fair value gap, we need to move our stop to break even as soon as we hit this level. This is an internal wick, and we are going to want to move our stop to break even roughly there. Sometimes you can manually hold it through this, especially because it's only 6 handles, and the odds of you being stopped out are much higher with just a 6-handle move on the Nasdaq, because Nasdaq just has big candles. I mean, it can move 6 handles in a flash. So I like this reaction right there a ton. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Beautiful reaction right there. I'm expecting lower prices here. Let's see if we want to get those lower prices here. See if it's going to give us an opportunity or if it's going to run without us. If it breaks this low, that's subjective if you want to take it or not. I'm not liking that close. That sucks. Let's see if we find resistance right here. Or if it breaks through it. We never swept any lows, so I'm looking this as a model 2022 potentially. This fair value gap right here. I'm not going to take a model 2022. What I would be interested in taking is potentially the inverse of this. But still, this is the main one that's holding. I'm looking at this as a breaker as well, so that's kind of the idea there. Let's see how these two candles close. See how the candles here close. 30-second, we had a volume imbalance. I like that. I'm going to take a short here. I could be making a mistake here, but we had a volume imbalance. Makes sense if we're going to reach back up. We still have this fair value gap here. And I'm going to have a tight stop on this.
Order submitted.
We're going to close that. That was a mistake on my part, guys. 1 for 1 or 1 for 2. Just lost the profits that I had on that. Yep. Stopped out. I'm up basically 1 handle on the day. Look at that reaction there. That was me trying to take something that wasn't really showing. That was me trying to make something out of that. That was my fault. All right, so here is, we just filled this 4-hour or 1-hour fair value gap right now. That is this level here on the 5-minute. We can see it here. Or that's the 4. We're on the 4-hour time frame. So that's the 4-hour fair value gap close. We just filled that 4-hour. Man, I wanted that lower move, man. I tell you what. I think I became more set on the lower move. That's why I took it. I like that touch into this fair value gap right here. See if it wants to continue lower, either find support at this breaker, or if we're going to push through and close this big expansion candle right here after closing this 4-hour fair value gap. On a 4-hour perspective, there's nothing really else higher. From a 1-hour perspective, we hit this low, which is what I referenced, that we probably don't have to fill this portion of the fair value gap here. Is that showing? Is that on? Make sure it's showing up there. Yeah, no, you can't see it very well. This low, this portion does not have to be filled. We got a green candle through it and a red candle through it. We wicked lower, wicked higher, and then came through it. So this is technically balanced. From a 15-minute perspective, all of this is balanced now. Oh yeah, I'm way more confident about a lower move now. Two-minute looks nice. A single fair value gap lower. The 1 minute has a couple different ones. We have one here, one here, one here. $15-minute, Michael. Yeah, I did put that on there. I just wasn't looking at it. I think I got caught up in the lower time frames. But yes, I don't see any reason for price to move higher at this point. If it does, it does. That's why we don't take a trade off of the higher time frame. You can take an initial reaction and get 10 handles. I've done that many times. But we want to see our model after we hit these. That's me. Now, ICT he could do a turtle soup right here and say, well, look at this. Price says that we're not going any higher. I'm taking a short here. And he does that. But he's just seen that happen so many times to where it gives him the confidence to do that. I'm not there yet. So I will be there one day. I say there yet because I will be there. Could see a market maker sell model. From where? Are we talking here? Or are we talking all the way down here? I think that's in the cards for sure, Ted.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
I'm going to take that.
Order
I can't
submitted.
believe I didn't close that. Watching this close right here. We made equal lows right there. So this is still a valid trade. I saw the momentum and I took that. I'm going to be careful on this right here. See if we get a wick up into the next level. There's a close. I'm being careful because it could wick up anywhere into this level, and it doesn't look like it's going to. It looks like it's just going to push lower.
Order submitted.
Let's see if it goes now. If it doesn't, if it turns green, I'm out.
Order submitted.
Okay. Done on the day. Not going to take any more. That's me chasing. This is what I wanted. I missed my trade, and that was me trying to make up for missing my trade. So unless it gives me something else, I'm probably going to be done. It looks really nice though. I want a green candle, just a close of one green candle here for an order block. I can't believe I let that go. I know. DDT, I got you. Here's the move lower. It's going to be an expansion move. There's our equal lows. That was the target. There's the 930 price. Did what I wanted, folks. I just showed you how not to trade. I should have sold it when it made those equal lows. Still sitting at break even. Michael, way to go. I like it. Here's the breaker sitting right here. Let's see if it wants to reach up into this. I mean, it's pretty clear and obvious. We got a fair value gap here and a fair value gap here. The only problem is how high does it want to go? My guess is it could not and should not go above this inversion fair value gap. So I'd be looking at that somewhere between this breaker and this high. It's going to be heavy here, guys. I think we'll probably be heavy here. Let's just tape read here. If we're going to creep down like this is what you want to stay away from. Wait for a purge the other direction where it acts as if it wants to go this way, and then a continuation lower. But if it's just going to melt like this, it doesn't give us an opportunity unless you're in from this inversion fair value gap up here. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I made a mistake on my analysis because I got in on the close of this inversion fair value gap and we never closed above it. I should never close the trade. But I felt myself getting emotional, and that's kind of how I closed it. I feel like this is a little loud. Way to go, Ted. Oh, the opening gap is beautiful, Deborah. The opening gap is beautiful, and the midnight opening price is a beautiful target. I'm looking for us to come back up into this breaker. That's what I would like to see before it just melts. You got relatively equal lows right here. That could be a target as well. A close below this is probably going to signal a big push to here. Because this is opening price, and this is our first dig into that and into the opening range gap. So if we melt and we go below here, we're probably running these equal lows and probably these equal lows, and then trying to see if it wants to run all the way to the midnight open or the midpoint of the opening range gap. It's a large gap. This is something ICT has talked about before, that when it runs these lows, the low a second time, it usually is aggressive. I don't know how often it is because I haven't researched it myself. But when he talks about it and I see it, it looks like it works. But it's not something you take a trade on its own. You have to have your model. And to be honest, the model was up here. This was the model. What the heck is this? I don't want to know words. We're going to find resistance at 930 right there. Closing below it. Are we going to find, first time we're closing below it, does it want to find resistance and then continue lower? I like where the equilibrium for this quick drop is. Might not reach up to here, but I like where it's located, right in line with the breaker and this inversion fair value gap. Hit our swing low for an entry. That sucks. Took that away. Too aggressive there. No opportunities. See if it retraces back up to the inversion fair value gap. Okay, I'm done with music, guys. I'd like to see it come up into this level here. Because we already ran this low, it's looking very heavy. Respected this new weak opening gap and stopped right before. Do you see how it stopped right before this low? That's common. Make people think that it's fine support here and it will move higher. But I think the draw on liquidity is the midnight open. Deborah, way to go. Were you able to pull anything out, Deborah? I hope you did. It was a nice drop. A little sloppy on my end today. Saving that. If you guys notice, I'm kind of irritated with myself. Irritated on how I executed. I had my analysis right. I had poor execution. And honoring my 3 trades here. Just going to watch it run without me. Bye, sweetie. Way to go, Deborah. Still in, but took 2 off. Midnight open. Way to go, Michael. I'm glad, Michael. Thank you. Even in the midst of my mistakes, the midst of my failures, people are learning. Good. If you're going to learn something today, learn what not to do by some of the things that I did. We really need to see this low ran relatively soon, and if we don't stop to break, you want to put your stop right above this inversion fair value gap. If you have your entry above this level right here is where I'd be placing my break even. So it would look something like this. That's where I would have my break even. It would look something like that. Stop would be there. Now, if you have your stop lower than that, or your entry is lower than that, then I would put it at break even, or maybe at the new week opening gap high. Well, they're at as planned and expected, folks. I really do want to see this be aggressive right here. We've just passed the last low, and we have one more right before open, or the midnight open. Let's see it be aggressive right here. That's kind of what I would want to see. Just a nice aggressive push through this. The main reason is price doesn't want to give time for people to move their stops from where they're at. So it wants to be aggressive and run these levels sooner than later to make sure they don't give them enough time to sell their positions before or move their stops lower. That's how I would view that. Got 5 minutes till the macro begins on this end, so I think we might see continued push lower. Let's see what happens here. I like how it wicked up to that, rebalanced this whole area here. We want to see this close red. Do we close above this fair value gap right here in 25 seconds? Oh, I like that. Keep dropping. See if it wants to drop more. 5 seconds left. Here's our aggressive move. Let's see it right here. Expand lower. Come on. Come on. Give it to us. I want to see this complete. I do like how it's respecting this level here. It's still trying to stay below here. But let's see if it really stays below. There we go. Get big push, hit that midnight open. Come on. It's not going to stop there. Trash is coming through. Come on, close red. Don't stop right before. This happens all the time. It will come lower and it will stop right below the low. We saw that here. It retraced, broke through it. Here, are we going to retrace? Sometimes it will be a much deeper retracement. So we just got to watch, see if it respects these order blocks right here. Or if it's going to break through it and move higher. I like that close. See if it wants to push right here. Here we go. Come on. Stop flirting with us. Come on. Ten seconds. You're about there. It's just going to be a big pop. Just a big... one of those kind of moves. There it is. See if it wants to move any lower, but that was our target, folks. There it is. Midpoint right there. Does look like it has some more to go, but man, it was toying with us. You know what the hardest part about all that was? I didn't take it. That was the hardest part. My cash account's at break even, and I am just slightly red on my funded accounts, just by like 3 handles. Do you like that? Look at that, guys. Isn't that pretty? Do you see that? Isn't that nice? What was the target? Swing low, midnight open. Consequent encroachment of the opening range gap. And as soon as we wick through it, we close green. I don't take credit for any of this, folks. This is great. I'm not saying it's going to stop, but man, what a reaction to that level. Ted, you're not kidding. Patience is I had a big learning day today. I didn't handle this the right way, and the price, it was just so pretty too. Really, it was the movement of the candles that threw me off, and I just did not handle it right. But we called the high. Now, I did think we hit the high here. We had an extra high. That's okay. We broke lower. Our signal was a big level of displacement right here. This candle right here is what signaled that price is moving lower. And then it takes its time. It's intentional, but takes its time. These candles are the hardest thing to do. That's why you just got to find the level and hold. Good learning day. Good learning day. Good learning day. Could have been better. Could have been better. But I think that by far, no doubt in my mind, was the move for the day. Everything else is going to be either a continuation lower or messing around inside this range. And messing inside of a range is very difficult. It's not encouraged. So reaction here. This is interesting here, guys. Breaker. I'm not interested in it. There's another one right here. Grab these equal highs here. But what you got to understand is if you think that price is going to just right now just do this, you think if you think price is just going to do this, it's not. Very rarely will it do it. What is most likely to happen is this. Something to that effect. What is this? Crap. Crap. This is called crap. Stay out of that. Okay? Now, you might get a short move here. Right there. Boom. Might get a short move from this, but this is nothing to be like, oh, I'm holding for the big one. What big one are you holding for? Where are you targeting? That's the problem. We already grabbed these equal highs. We already just made this high. Does it really want to go up there? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. So, decent price action today. Subpar execution on my part. Honestly, I'm disappointed in how I executed. Grateful that I'm really not negative on the day. More of a break-even day. But we are probably going to call it a day. I will not be here tomorrow. I can say that confidently. I will not be here tomorrow. I will be back on Wednesday. And we will be trading live on Wednesday. Looking for some setups. Let's just, before we call it a day, let's look at our calendar for the week and see what we have going on here. All right, so here's our calendar. Today's Monday, no news Monday. Tuesday, we got really no news Tuesday. Here's USD. We got an FOMC member speaks. No news, basically. Wednesday, we got core CPI. There it is. There it is. That's going to be a big day. At 8:30, we should see some clean price action. So I'm expecting today and tomorrow to be more consolatory. More consolidation than anything else. Okay? We should see some consolidation for these days. Until we hit Wednesday, then we're going to have some expansion. Then on Thursday, we got core PPI on Thursday. And then Friday, we really have light news at 10 o'clock. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are going to be our big trading days. So save your gunpowder for then. Be okay with a break-even day if you got it, which is what I'm going to be doing. And let's see if we can capitalize on something else. Here's that breaker that we just referred. It did pan out. It did run the high. That's as high as I would want to see it run if I'm going to target it. Nothing else higher is really probable. So that's going to be it for today, folks. Thanks for being here. God bless you. Stay safe.